Look who's just come in.
Oh my gosh. I didn't get a
My
chance
special
to
guy.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations. I am not a patient person, so I have been waiting for this. I'm going to try not to give anything away. Out of curiosity, at the end of last season, Keely made it clear to Roy that she could not join him on the Spain trip. If you're Roy, are you going by yourself on the Spain trip?
Probably, yeah, but probably not for as long, you know. I think it would be a shorter trip. And I think also it's not that she didn't want to go, but she's got to set up this office, you know?
Yeah, she's got to set up the office. She's got things to do. You know, we are so invested in this relationship. And one of the neat parts of this season is we find out just how invested the team also is in this relationship. What is the strangest, oh, they really are invested in this relationship experience you've had with maybe a celebrity or a friend where it's almost like, you know, guys, this is just a TV show?
I remember it being quite wild that there were Valentine's cards about it. Last year, I was like, whoa. But my favorite thing last year was seeing a lot of like 4-year-olds as Ted Lasso for Halloween. That was spectacular.
Yep.
A big sale of fake mustache. I'm sure that went up high.
And there were a lot of Keely Joneses as well. Did you see some good ones?
There were some really, really kick-ass ones. Yeah, it was great. A lot of high ponytails and pink.
Yeah, I thought it was just wonderful. You know, in watching the first 3 episodes, the word that comes to mind the most is vulnerability, and how everybody in their own way is vulnerable, how it's okay to be vulnerable, how different characters handle that vulnerability. Has doing this show affected how you handle vulnerable situations or feeling vulnerable?
I think you can't help but let a character kind of become a part of your, you know, makeup somehow. And I think I've always been somebody that's quite open about vulnerability and moments when I'm feeling vulnerable or frightened or incapable at certain things. And so what's been really awesome for me with Keely is being able to channel it through her in a way that I think also people wouldn't necessarily expect Keely to go through it like the way she is. And that's something I've loved about her from day one, that she is so not what you expect her to be. And the fact that she's now in a position where she's got more power than she's ever had in her life. You know, she's got people depending on her in a way that, you know, is new and daunting, but at the same time, she's got these extraordinary friendships around her, especially someone like Rebecca, who has more experience at being a woman running a business, you know, and being kind of the top dog, and the advice that she can give Keely, and also the beautiful bosom to cry on when Keely needs it.
Yeah, let's just say Keely leaves her mark on that bosom, and that's all I'll say. But you just quickly, as they wrap me, you led into my last question. You know, last season she gives you great advice when it comes to being a boss. Hire your best friend. There are a few new hires this season, and I'm loving them. Is there anything you can say about the new hires?
Just the journey of being at that PR company with these new characters was so much fun to play with and film, and 2 extraordinary actresses that join Keely's PR company that bring very different things and teach Keely a lot.
Yeah, I just can't wait for more. I hope to see you in person one of these days. Juno, thanks for your time today. Congrats on this.
I hope so too. Thank you, and keep wearing pink. It looks great on you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so bummed this is virtual, but I am so grateful to have any time with you at all. Congratulations on everything. I'm 4 episodes in.
Oh my gosh, I thought I was going to see you while I was here.
Well, I thought so too. Maybe. I don't know. I'm a couple floors below you, I think.
Oh, man.
You know, I don't want to give anything away, but is it safe to say the world of psychics might get a nice boost after this season?
I think possibly so.
Okay.
Possibly so. Who knows? People have to try and read it in the tea leaves.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there's so much I wanted to ask you about last season as we go into season 3. Obviously, a big storyline is you and Sam, and I can't tell you enough how well you handled that surprise for fans, because it was a surprise for your character, and you had to somehow convince us that, you know what, this relationship, you know what, why
It's
can't this happen?
feasible. Yeah.
It's feasible. How long did it take you as Hannah to go, you know what, this totally could happen?
I think because Toheeb and I have such a lovely shorthand and have done from day one, it meant that we both, I mean, he literally appeared in my doorway of my dressing room when we both just heard, and I was like, hi. And he went, hello. He was like, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm traumatized. And I was like, just think about the fact that the writer's room will have us. They will have us and hold us close. And I was right to think that, because the way those characters were written was absolutely beautiful.
100% agree, because I was, again, like many fans, thinking it's going to be Ted, and then when it was Sam, I was thrown, but I thought it was just so well handled.
Yeah.
Genius. The word that comes to mind, and why, again, I've only seen 4 episodes, and that's the bummer. I have no friends I can talk to about this because I don't want to spoil it. No one's seen it except probably you. The word that comes to mind.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't
seen any of them?
Oh,
I mean, I don't like watching myself at the best of times. I just think, what a dick. Why do you work?
You know what? You got to get over that, by the way. You really do, because you're fantastic in this. But the word that comes to mind is vulnerable, because everybody in this season is vulnerable.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, what is the one word that you would use to describe season 3, if you could pick just one?
I probably would have said that.
Yeah.
Actually. I mean, I know that there is a vulnerability throughout everyone. I love where Keely finds herself. She thinks it's the greatest achievement of her life to have what she's had, and then, you know, has to put the shutters down and get together with her girl Rebecca. I love the fact that, you know, we leave Rebecca in a place of thinking that she's having quite a zen internal, you know, calming her system moment at the end of 2, and then we find her in 3 and she's again a ramshackled hot mess. And I love that. I love playing those bits of her.
And you do it so well. I'm curious, in addition to your own storyline as a fan, whose storyline are you most invested in? Because everybody's got one.
Nick Mohammed.
Yeah.
Oh man, what an asshole.
Oh.
I mean, just horrifically damaged by his past.
And as we wrap up, I've been asking everybody this. I asked Juno as well. I had a chance to talk to her yesterday.
Oh, did you?
I did. And she brought up your bosom, which makes a nice appearance as her shoulder to cry on in season 3. But I asked her, if you're Roy, are you going to Spain by yourself for 6 weeks? I ask you the same question.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No. What did she say?
She said she'd go, but not as long as 6 weeks. She'd probably go by herself, but not as long. I thought that was a good answer.
I feel like she and I would happily go for about 3 months. Use ourselves.
I didn't throw in you being a partner on the trip. I'm sure you guys would still be over there in Spain if that were the case. Congratulations. One of these days I will meet you in person. I'm not giving up.
Man.
And it's great so far. I can't wait.
One of these days, you, me, and our beloved LP companion, we will finally get together and get trashed and have copious amounts of food and be found in a small heap on the floor.
Well, he wants to call our podcast Blondes Across the Pond. It still works with you in it, so that would be wonderful.
Hey. It should be Blondes Across the Ponds. You can't say Blondes Across the Pond.
Blondes Across the Ponds.
There we go.
Thank you. Have a great day today. Seriously.
Lovely to see you. Look who's just come in.
Oh my gosh. I didn't get a chance
special guy.
Oh my gosh. Toheeb, congratulations. I have nobody to talk to about this because none of my friends have seen it. I don't want to spoil anything. I feel like you guys are the only ones I can talk to about this.
I'm going to leave so you guys can finish your interview, but it was lovely to see you.
Never leave.
Oh, so lovely to see you too. I'm actually a few floors below you, so I may see you in the
How are
elevator.
you?
Oh, okay,
Um,
cool.
Oh, Steve, go down in a minute.
I'm so glad he came in. That was such a treat. Forget the fact that you're in this show and that you obviously helped write this show. As a
Yes.
fan, what
Yes.
storyline, as we left season 2, were you actually most interested in besides your own?
Oh, Nate. I'm Nate is a big story, and I think when we finished season 2, so I can't speak for everyone, but for me, I was shocked by how much people hated Nate. I was surprised. People fucking hated Nate, and I was like, oh wow, I've misjudged this because, you know, as one of the writers, I know Nate. I understand
Right.
his upbringing, his how he got to this place. I just feel heartbroken for Nate. I just think he's sad. I feel sorry for him, and so at the end of season 2, I don't hate him. I feel I want to give him a hug. You know, like I think he's just a very sad figure. But
You
people were mad.
you know
People were
why?
fucking mad.
Because he tore up the believe sign, and
I
that's a
know.
no. That's a deal breaker.
I know it's a deal breaker, but it made me laugh that all these Ted Lasso
Yeah, it did
fans,
make me.
Ted Lasso, all these Ted Lasso fans were like, "Let's fucking kill him," and I was like, "I don't think you're getting the message of this show."
Well, all will be made clear as we enter season 3. There will maybe
Yes.
be some perspective shifts. Without giving too much away, there are some new characters that I am loving, and I'm curious as a
Yeah.
writer, you know, when you've developed something so great already, is it really hard to write somebody new in because there is such chemistry, and it's almost like, in a way, what some of the team
Yeah.
members go through as we introduce somebody new?
I don't know the answer to that. As a writer, I don't know the answer. I think it's I don't think so, because it was just exciting writing these characters. But in terms of for the actor, I think all of these actors are so amazing. And I think if you ask them, because they told us, I think it's very intimidating for them to come into this set where we're a team and we've bonded and all of that. Luckily, everyone's very lovely and welcoming. So they all, I think it only took a day until they were like, oh no, this is fine. But I think it's much more intimidating for the actor than it is for the writers.
You know, I want to ask you, I've asked Juno and Hannah this. As we left season 2, Roy was faced with possibly going to Spain by himself. My question for you is, if you're Roy, do you go to Spain by yourself, or do you not go at all?
I don't believe I or Roy went to Spain, if you
Okay.
ask me.
Okay. Juno said she'd go, but just not for 6 weeks.
Fucking Juno.
She would deal with it. As they wrap me, my friend who's also in television from Seattle, and unfortunately doesn't get a chance to chat with you today, you're going there in a few weeks. And I promised her, because
Yeah.
she introduced me to Ted Lasso, that I would ask you, why Seattle? And of all the cities in the US, you picked Seattle to take your show to. Can I ask why?
It's an experiment to see if I could do this show in places in America, and I hear Seattle is very cool and the audiences there are great. I've been told that by many comics, and it's not insanely far away.
Well, neither is Arizona, so feel free to maybe make a stop on your way, or maybe on the way back from Seattle, and come by Phoenix, Scottsdale.
All right, thank you. I'll see you
Brett,
there.
seriously, congratulations. I'm so excited about this season. You guys are just killing it.
Oh, you're very kind. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Tell Toheeb
you.
thanks again for jumping in.
I will do.
Okay.
Thanks very much.